Most people think that to become a freelance copywriter, you simply need to be a good writer. Wrong. What you need is to become a skilled entrepreneur and see your copywriting career as a business. Well, Darius, but I just want to write. I know nothing about business. Well, fret not, my friend. In this video, I share 5 tips to help you start a freelance writing business. My name is Darius Lucas, and if you want to get more videos on copywriting, marketing, and running your business, click like and subscribe. Part 1. Business first. Writing second. I know it sounds counterintuitive, and you think that if you just embarked on your career as a copywriter, you should become good at copywriting. And that's true, and that's what we have been doing on this channel. I provided loads and loads of tutorials that you can go back and watch and sort of become a better writer. However, I'd always say that to be a good copywriter, you also need to be a good entrepreneur, a good business owner. And that's for 2 reasons. The first reason is that you have to sell your own services. You have to really know how to attract clients. You need to know how to market yourself in order to have the demand. You hear a lot about these claims of become a copywriter and start a 6-figure business. Well, I've done that personally, but I can tell you that's a lot of work. And the only reason that I was able to achieve that was because I trained myself to be a very savvy businessman. I mean, that was my priority. The second reason why it's very important for you to become a good entrepreneur, a good business owner, when you want to be a copywriter, is that when you write copy, you are essentially selling. You are essentially promoting the products or the services of your clients. You need to understand the logic, the sort of what goes into the process of launching and building a business and launching a product and building a client list. And I think if you have that mindset of an entrepreneur, the way you will write copy will be very different to an average copywriter. So it really serves you as a copywriter to become an entrepreneur and grow your own business, as well as help your clients grow theirs. Part 2. Devour business books. Now, this is very important because I know that probably you're watching this video and thinking to yourself, well, it's easy to say that I have to think like a business owner, like an entrepreneur, but how do I do that? How do I educate myself to become an entrepreneur? And obviously that's a process. That's not something that happens overnight, but I would say, and I really believe that, and it's not a sort of wishy-washy statement, that becoming an entrepreneur is a mindset. It's a shift in your thinking. And you can only achieve it by educating yourself on what entrepreneurship is and how it works and how do you build a business and how do you think about your time, how do you think about a product structure, how do you think about team, hiring, growing, and so on. So I'll recommend you 2 books that really helped me as an entrepreneur and really shaped my thinking. And the first one is a very popular book that you might have seen online, you might have seen on the internet quite a lot. It's quite an old book by now. It's The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And whilst it sounds catchy, the book in itself is an absolute gold mine in a sense of teaching you the key principles of entrepreneurship. And it really helps you understand how to value your time, how to price your time, how to think of your path as an entrepreneur, how to leverage the skills that you have. And what I would really say is that The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss is the Bible for beginner entrepreneurs. It's the Bible of understanding what this whole path of entrepreneurship is. It's brilliant for those that are solopreneurs, that are just starting out, that are just trying to get their head around this whole thing. And as a copywriter, I'm sure you'll get a lot of value from this book. And the second book is The Great CEO Within by Matt Mochary. And that's a really practical guide to actually running your business, to being a CEO of a business. And whether you're just starting out or you actually have a team, it's a brilliant book with practical strategies, practical advice on how to actually run your company. So while the 4-Hour Workweek will be the guide to principles and key ideas behind the path of entrepreneurship, The Great CEO Within will provide you with a practical roadmap to actually executing and bringing those principles to life. Part 3, have a business structure. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, you are just a solopreneur, a solo writer starting on this path. Why on earth would you need a business structure? What kind of business structure would you need if you're just by yourself at your computer in your bedroom? Well, you're quite wrong, my friend. You do need a business structure. And this is the foundation for your success. What is a business structure? Well, Obviously, what I really like to do is to think of my year, and obviously I have a team by now, so it's a little easier for me at this point, but even when I didn't, I would think of my year in quarters, just like major corporations do, and I break down my year in quarters, and I plan out my quarter way ahead, and I know exactly what has to happen in the quarter. And the resistance always is from those that are just starting out, is that they say, well, I have no idea if I'm gonna get a client. I am just starting out. I can't possibly plan anything. And again, this is the pitfall. You can plan everything. You can literally work out the desired amount that you want to make in a quarter. Then you can break it down into a number of clients that you have to acquire within that quarter in order to reach that financial goal. You can also map out, for example, how you want to expand your portfolio. Do you want to build a website? Are you gonna, put out an ebook or whatever? You need to really plan it out week by week, exactly what your plan for the quarter is. And even if you don't have any clients, you've just started out, this is the first day of your life as a copywriter, you still need that plan. And the reason for that is because every day when you wake up and you don't feel motivated, you don't feel inspired, and you feel the life is not going the way you'd love it to go, you just go back to your plan and you execute your plan. So you don't leave room for your emotions to take over. You don't leave room for not feeling like doing something, because the plan is there, exactly what to do each and every week in order to get to a certain milestone. And that will change the entire game for you as a copywriter, because you'll be very laser focused. So I will say that you have to have the business structure and you have to be planning out each quarter meticulously. Part 4, build a future vision for your business. And we have already covered the importance of planning out each of the quarters of your year. But it's also as important to have a clear vision for the next year to come, even 2 years or 5 years, because having this long-term vision really helps you short-term. It really helps you day to day, because you know what you're aiming for. So to do that, I'd love you to map out as to exactly how many clients you want to be having a year from now. I want you to specify what type of clients they would be. I would want you to specify what assignments you are having, and most importantly, what money you're making. What's your cash flow? What is it looking like? And be really specific about what you are feeling like, and what you're enjoying, and what your house is looking like, and what your life is looking like, what your possibly team is looking like. Where are you living? What are you doing? How are you sort of running a business? Because the more details you include, the easier it becomes for you to get there, because you become very specific about your goals. And again, this might not happen within the first year, and you might fall a little short of your goals, but you'll see that in time you'll be heading there, because you will have mapped out a very clear pathway for your success as a freelance copywriter. Part 5, don't be your own boss. Now, I know this is the dream for a lot of us. We think that we're starting out these careers as copywriters, as freelancers, as entrepreneurs, in order to be free, in order to not have a boss, and in order to actually be in charge of our own schedule. And yes, that's something that we all should aspire and try to get there, because it's amazing and that level of freedom is great. However, there's also something quite difficult about it, and that is that you have to manage yourself. And I'll tell you that for most of us, the hardest person to manage is ourselves. So now, how can you avoid managing yourself? Because that should be the goal. Don't manage yourself. So as you're starting out, it's always a good idea to have an accountability buddy, a friend, for example, who is building their own thing, their own gig, that you can maybe partner up with, in a sense of keeping each other accountable and sort of telling each other what you've been up to the whole week, and really having those milestones mapped out and sharing together and being accountable to one another. As soon as you can hire a VA, a virtual assistant, and become accountable to your VA. Like the first time I hired my VA, instead of feeling like I'm the boss here, I said to her, you are my boss now. You're in charge of this project. I'm just delivering whatever you ask me to deliver for this project. And it really changes that mindset, obviously, with the people that you work with, because they go, okay, well, he's not my boss. Actually, I'm in charge of everything. And now I have to make sure that I keep him in check and I get the work done. So you see, what happens is you are no longer responsible for the person you've just hired, and you're no longer responsible for managing yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have to be accountable. It doesn't mean that you don't have to sort of like care about what happens and somebody else now has to sort of boss you around like your mom. No, of course not. You have to obviously have a determination and the will and the passion, and you have to get up every morning, and nobody else will do that for you. But just know that it's just very hard for the human mind to work in a way that to keep us constantly motivated, to keep us constantly engaged. Now, I know that you might not be able to hire a VA. Absolutely, that's just the beginning of your journey. So I would say go back and try and find a friend that, as I said, you can partner up with. Later on, yes, you might be able to hire a VA, or as in my case, when you build up a team, you'll have multiple team members running multiple projects, and I am just helping them with each of those projects. So at any one time, I'll have different team members coming back to me and saying, hey, I need this video, I need this script, I need you to do this, I need you to go over this budget, whatever that is. So I'm no longer really tracking each of the projects. I am actually executing, I'm actually almost employed by my own team. And that's a very liberating thing to have. So again, you might not have a team now, you might not have a VA now, but you can definitely have an accountability buddy that will help you stay on track and really start viewing your copywriting career as a business. So these are my 5 tips to help you start your own freelance writing business. And if you want more lessons, more tutorials about copywriting, business, marketing, don't forget to click like and subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to comment below and share what was the biggest takeaway for you from this video. And there are some good videos coming up on your screen that you can continue watching in order to build your own freelance writing business.